Good morning, everyone. This weekend marked 3 years since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. There are still many unknowns about the long-term health effects. Doctors in San Diego are investigating what appears to be an increase in a debilitating condition called POTS after COVID, which usually affects women. Daniel Bacchus introduces us to a woman coping with the disorder.
Nicole Baca was a nurse on the front lines of the pandemic. She ended up hospitalized with COVID-19 in June 2020. Since then, she's been coping with many symptoms, including heart palpitations and brain fog.
I went from being a healthy woman in her 30s to being pushed into my doctor's appointments in a transport wheelchair.
Baca was eventually diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. The disorder of the autonomic nervous system causes symptoms when a person goes from seated or a lying position to standing.
A lot of people are dismissed as having anxiety or a psychological disorder because people are not aware of POTS. We have known for many years that POTS can occur after various viral illnesses.
Dr. Pam Tao with UC San Diego Health is investigating a surge in post-COVID POTS. Estimates suggest around 1 million people have developed the condition after COVID. Treatment includes a combination of lifestyle strategies and medication.
This protocol involves strength training and non-upright exercises. And then there are medications that can be used to treat POTS and lower the heart rate.
Baca has done months of physical therapy and cardiac rehab. She continues to exercise and take medications.
Even just from in the last year, now I feel like I'm able to do more. I can stand longer. I don't have as many flares of my symptoms or my heart rate spiking.
And she took part in research studies to help people with POTS get their lives back. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, San Diego.
Recovery is still happening with the economy. A new report shows the U.S. job market remains strong, but the positive news could actually lead to higher interest rates. Willie James Inman reports from Washington.
Restaurants and many other industries continue to bring on more workers. The Labor Department says overall the economy added 311,000 jobs in February, nearly 100,000 more than expected. The unemployment rate rose from a 53-year low of 3.4% to 3.6% as more Americans started searching for work.
On balance, I think this is a good jobs report, but it may be a little too good for the likes of the Federal Reserve.
Bankrate senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick says that's because the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to slow down the job market and economy to ease inflation. Earlier this week, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress the board will continue to raise rates.
Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone.
The Fed's strategy is having an effect on certain aspects of the economy, including businesses that lend money. Bank stocks are taking a hit on Wall Street, especially those that offer loans to tech companies, an industry in the midst of massive layoffs.
I was part of the Meta layoffs this morning.
Alejandra Hernandez lost her job at Meta in November. She's documenting her job search on TikTok, and it hasn't been easy.
I do try to submit around 5 to 10 applications a week. I have a whole spreadsheet where I track all of my job search.
I'm also a professional event planner, giving tips and advice to everybody getting married.
Hernandez started a wedding business side hustle for some extra cash, but right now it's not enough to pay the bills. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Ready to spring forward, daylight saving is back. While the extra sunshine may be relief from dark winter days for some, it can also take a toll on your bedtime routine. Mandy Gaither has some tips on what you can do now in order not to lose sleep later.
Here comes the sun. Starting Sunday, March 12th at 2 a.m., spring your clock forward an hour, but don't let the time change rob you of sleep.
Darkness in the evening goes through the eyes and tells your brain to make melatonin, which prepares your body for sleep.
Psychologist Lisa Meltzer with National Jewish Health says during daylight saving time, the extra light in the evening can keep your body from being able to prepare itself for sleep.
The problem is that our social clocks, which are those clocks set by work and by school, don't change. And so we still have to wake up in the morning. And so by going to bed later and waking up at the same time, we end up getting less sleep.
Since sleep is essential for our physical and mental health and well-being, Meltzer says to start preparing for the time change now. Begin moving your bedtime and wake-up time by about 15 minutes to help get yourself set on the new time.
If that's not possible, then make sure you start waking up at the new time as soon as possible and exposing yourself to as much bright light in the morning to help your clock get back onto schedule.
You can also keep your body's clock in check through healthy sleep habits. Meltzer says that includes maintaining a consistent sleep and wake schedule, not napping late in the day, turning off technology at night, limiting caffeine in the afternoon, and avoiding alcohol before bed. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The type of things that kids worry about may surprise you. What bothers them and how you can help next on Mid-Morning. Welcome back, everyone. If you have children, then you know they worry about much different things than their parents do. One of the big ones is climate change. Research shows most youth are, quote, extremely worried about it, but there is something they can do about those feelings. David Chester connects with a professor doing novel research on climate change anxiety.
In Chelsea, Massachusetts, just outside Boston, there's so much jet fuel, road salt, and heating oil stored on the river. It's hard for some residents to even get close to the water. When you're young, that's the kind of thing you notice.
You wouldn't see that in a white neighborhood. You wouldn't see any industries, any smoke, any pollution.
Because a lot of the teenagers in Chelsea lived in Chelsea since they were children.
These high school students are environmental activists at a nonprofit called Green Roots.
I feel like adding more green space would help people in Chelsea go out more.
They work alongside adults advocating for environmental justice in their hometown.
I hope that they would understand and get a chance to experience that people will take them seriously when they speak to concerns and they speak to the problems that they are facing.
With a group like this, so focused on environmental problems in their neighborhood, it should come as no surprise that they're also worried about climate change.
We impact not just ourselves, but the whole world.
They know that the world is going to get to be a harder, darker, scarier place, and imagining themselves in that world feels really scary for them.
Dr. Sarah Schwartz is a professor of psychology at Suffolk University. She's been researching a phenomenon called climate change anxiety.
Climate change anxiety, I think, is an appropriate and normal response to what is going on our Earth, on our globe. I think we need to recognize it as something that a lot of people are experiencing.
This study, published last year, collected attitudes about climate change from 10,000 young people from around the world. Across all countries, 59% of youth said that they were very or extremely worried about climate change. And when it comes to how they're feeling, 62% reported anxious, 67% said sad, and 67% said afraid. The survey asked young people to respond to statements like this.
The future is frightening, yes or no?
Yes, the future is frightening because, we see how all this has happened in such a short amount of time. And if we look into the very future without any change, it's not looking that good for us, no.
People have failed to take care of the planet.
Yes, the trash island, the oceans, it's not really a clean place.
I am hesitant to have children, yes or no?
Yes. I don't want them catching asthma or having to worry so much about their health.
Yes, due to the fact that it just brings anxiety.
Dr. Schwartz says activism may be an effective way for kids to deal with those feelings.
So you can flip that one over.
Research found engaging in activism, like these students building a pop-up park in their neighborhood, may help prevent symptoms of depression.
Our research does suggest that climate activism may serve as some sort of buffer or protective effect for climate change anxiety.
And being part of that feels like I'm part of the solution.
Yeah, I'm part of the solution, and there's a whole lot of people with me doing this, so I'm not alone with my worries.
That feels right to these young activists.
And I think that if there's more people like this working towards a better future, I feel like there can be a change.
It helps me deal with it like I'm not the only one.
Is there moments where you're just like, wow, nothing's ever gonna change? But then there's also that small feeling that there's still hope, that people will change, that people will come together to help save humanity.
Hope. It's not a strategy for tackling the challenges of climate change, but for a younger generation, it may be the best place to start. I'm David Schechter, CBS News.
All right, everyone treats them like neighbors, but no one knows where they came. That story when Mid-Morning returns. All right, we're back. There's a mystery in a New Orleans neighborhood that residents really can't seem to crack. Where did the chickens come from? Eleanor Tabone ruffled some feathers to solve the question.
Over here on St. Rock, we feed our chickens.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
They my babies, and I love them so much.
Well, that's the mystery in the St. Rock neighborhood.
So they all over. They over down here, down Tonti. If you go all the way down Tonti, they over here on Legend Fields, Frenchman. They all up in the area. On Florida Avenue, they all over. They're not just here. These are our chickens in our neighborhood here on St. Rock. But each area have their own chickens.
Connie Smith and her husband moved here 4 years ago, and these feathery babies were already calling the neutral ground home.
They're very good. They don't bother nobody. They don't fight with nobody. They don't try to bite nobody.
Neighbours take turns feeding the ever-growing flock. They even have a feeding schedule.
If I don't feed them the day before, they'll come underneath my bedroom, and they'll stand there, hey, mama, come on out here and feed us this doggone food. And then I'll just get up, later on, I feed them like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening.
Now, they're also over on Tulane, but where did they come from?
Mr. Clarence, where do you think that these chickens came from?
From an egg.
One neighbour says they roam all over, but they do have predators.
For 51 years, these chickens have been roaming around?
Yes. Not the same one, because people eat them when they catch them.
I've been seeing the chickens, I want to say, for about 26 years.
For residents, the chickens are a form of entertainment.
Well, I've seen the chickens come out of my backyard. This is my mother's house, and they go across the street where they have a little bit of construction, that carpentry. Yeah, so I have a nice time watching them.
After hours of asking where they came from, one neighbour claims backyard chicks got out of his grandparents' yard and started their own free-range family.
So your family's the reason why everyone gets to enjoy these chickens?
Yeah, well, my grandfather, my mother's family.
But what about the eggs?
Now, neighbours have told me that the chickens come here to the Woven Roots Community Garden to lay their eggs. We want to find some of those eggs, so come on, let's find some eggs. No eggs. No eggs. Lizard. No one knows where they lay their eggs, huh?
No one's know where they lay their eggs.
As the sun sets, the chickens wander to their nests to turn in for the night. But tomorrow is a new day, and they'll be at someone's door asking for breakfast.
Thank you for interviewing me and our chickens.
Eleanor Tabone, Eyewitness News.
In the world of competitive sports, there's one considered a cut above the rest, and it's all about fleecing the competition. It involves sheep and some sharp contestants, as Ian Lee shows us.
In a country like New Zealand, where sheep outnumber people 5 to 1, someone was bound to turn it into a competition. It takes sheer tenacity and perseverance if you want to win here. Only the best sheep shearers gather for the annual Golden Shears competition.
You need to be fit, but in your body physically, but you also need to have the mental strength as well to be able to pull you through.
Competitors race to give 8 sheep a close shave. And the skill isn't for the faint of heart, considered by many as the toughest job on the farm.
It's unbelievable pressure put on your body and the energy levels you use.
The fleece flies as competitors then separate the wool. Kieran Herbert says she learned her shearing skills from some true legends.
You know, some of them are gone now. You know, they're up in the heavens. They were here, they'll be kicking our butts.
They finish by sweeping the floor of the competition and the wool before someone is crowned the sharpest shearer in the land. Ian Lee, CBS News.
A conversation with actress and musician Suki Waterhouse. That is next on Mid-Morning. We're back, everyone. She's one of the stars of the new video series Daisy Jones and the Six. Suki Waterhouse plays the keyboardist. Anthony Mason has that story.
There's nothing you can do. I know that I want this.
For Suki Waterhouse, it's been a watershed year. She led her first headlining tour behind her debut album, I Can't Let Go.
Was it exciting to see your album on vinyl?
Oh my goodness.
The London-born singer and actress,
Spooky Dude,
who loves vintage vinyl,
look at that album cover,
is also co-starring in the new miniseries Daisy Jones and the Six, about a 70s rock band.
Why are we still called the Dunn Brothers? I mean, 3 of us aren't Dunns, and the last time I checked, I'm nobody's brother.
You wanted this part really badly.
I did. I went into my agent's office and I was like, I have to be part of the show.
Waterhouse auditioned to play Karen Serco, the band's keyboardist.
And I did not know how to play the keys.
She practiced for months at home, she says, bothering her boyfriend of 5 years, the actor Robert Pattinson.
Did he enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
But he was a good sport about it?
Oh yeah, definitely. And he's actually way worse at being annoying about me. Well, because he's an amazing pianist and a really great guitarist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's amazing, honestly. But he's actually more like, listen to this voice note and listen to this all the time. He wins the annoying competition.
Okay.
The producers assigned her a song to learn.
They told you to play Light My Fire?
Yes, and
Did they make you play that?
they did.
Yeah.
They did.
How'd you do?
It was kind of like a children's lullaby version. I showed some tenacity that it could get better.
Yeah.
The cast members rehearsed for months together as a band.
They wanted us to be able to play every single note.
And even made an album before Waterhouse had recorded her own.
Did that in some way give you confidence to go into the studio?
I kind of think it might have a little
Yeah.
bit. I think I was getting a little bit jealous. I think definitely being around all that energy and all those amazing people. I mean, Dylan was in the next room next door to us. Yeah, doing a record with Blake Mills, and his tour bus was parked outside, and I was like, wow. You know?
When the 31-year-old singer went to make her own record, it became a kind of memoir of her often turbulent 20s.
Yeah, I kind of had to memorialize those 10 years, I feel like, to kind of be set free into the next decade.
Scouted on the streets of London, Waterhouse was signed as a model at 16. The cover girl quickly became an it girl in England. Her romances and breakups, like with the actor Bradley Cooper, were the talk of the tabloids. Waterhouse doesn't like to name names.
I kind of feel like I still have that slightly old school, where I'm always just like, nope, never complain, never explain, like
Yeah.
quite like English vibe.
But the heartache is all there in her music.
Welcome to my rose meltdown. Nobody ever breaks up. We just break down.
There's years where you just felt like so much was happening that you were kind of like personally drowning.
Are there periods where you felt like you were personally drowning?
Yeah, I think like in my early 20s, like having like a public life when you're really young is strange.
You didn't really ask for a public life, but it
Well, but then you kind of, I don't know. Did I not? I'm not sure.
you described yourself feeling shame, a lot of shame.
Uh-huh.
About what?
I don't know if you feel this because you're a man, but I don't know.
Fair question.
There's a lot of, yeah. I mean, we do a lot of shaming to women in media. We just do. If you have, you know, on shoots or in your workplace, like for years, people being like, you know, your thighs are too big. I heard that so much. And then I think I also felt like a shame of feeling like I had more to offer and then feeling like I was kind of trapped in this one thing.
Will anybody take you seriously?
Right.
Yeah.
As Karen in Daisy Jones and the Six, she also worries about perceptions around a covert romance with a bandmate.
Look, the moment they know we're together, everything changes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to,
Yeah,
Karen.
but it will. They'll treat me different, you know they will. And that's just the boys. I mean, what about the rest of the world?
Yep.
She was sleeping with the guitarist, so they let her in the bed.
Even the record label that ultimately signed Waterhouse rejected her at first.
I got an email back saying, we're not interested in looking at this record. We don't do models and actors and whatever. So.
What made you send it again?
Because I felt like it deserved to be listened to.
Now it is. Suki Waterhouse's first tour may have been bare bones.
Like, wow, I'm really living out the Daisy Jones and the Six show, but like the part that we were broke.
But those piano lessons have paid off.
I just got a baby grand piano.
Did you?
Now I like love playing piano and I can play it on stage and write more music with it. Get that album too going.
Stay with us. We'll be right back to wrap things up. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.